Hello, everybody. So, we all know that the amazing John Sykes passed away a while ago. I had the great opportunities to interview John twice. The first time was somewhere in the 80s. I can't remember exactly when. And the second time was on August 3rd, 1995. So, here's the first interview I did in the 80s. And you'll be able to see the other interview I did and listen to that from 95, also on the channel. See ya.
I mean, is Jeff someone you grew up listening to? Do you come from
Not really. I like some of his stuff. I like some of the blow-by-blow. I don't like all his stuff, but I like the slow stuff, like this one with his lovers and all that stuff. That's great. But some of the jazzy stuff I get a bit bored with.
What about like the earlier Rod Stewart stuff?
Well, I didn't really listen too much to that stuff. It was a bit before my time. But although I like some of the old ones, like the older ones that sort of stick in everyone's mind.
Yeah.
And you just keep hearing every now and
Yeah,
again.
yeah. So what kind of people did you listen to?
Well, when I first started playing, I started playing because my uncle used to play all the old Clapton stuff, and he was like an old blues player.
Really?
Yeah, I moved to Ibiza when I was 14 and I didn't speak Spanish or anything, so he started playing guitar. We owned 2 discotheques out there and a couple of bands came into the clubs. And it just started. I'd never seen a live band or anything. And one day, I knew he played guitar, but he just got up one day and started playing all this old blues and rock and roll. It was just so good, it made me feel, it was like I've never felt anything like it in my life. So it just sent shivers right through me. I just wanted to be able to do it, be able to make it sound like. Never had any idea that I didn't ever want to be a group leader. I just wanted to be able to play.
Really? Did he show you stuff?
Yeah, he used to he used to show me all that stuff. I used to listen to all the old Clapton stuff because that was what he used to be into. So, and I used to love all that. And I used to like Johnny Winters.
Really?
What
Yeah.
you doing him soon?
Loads of that stuff. Yeah. Great players. Great players. And it was great. It was good. I just started learning all that stuff because I just wanted to be able to do it. It was just fascinating. But great stuff. I love all that old blues stuff. But I was more into and when them sort of days, I was more into listening to like Page and Clapton and all that as opposed to say Jeff, because Jeff was a bit more off the wall than that. It wasn't like that bluesy type style what Jeff was doing.
Right.
But like I say, I like all that melodic stuff he does. It's a
Yeah.
great play.
So I mean, like the bluesbreaker stuff with Mail and
Yeah,
it's
all
kind
that
of-
type of thing.
It's textbook stuff for you.
Yeah, well, I just used to learn. We used to just sit jamming around. I started on this nylon strung acoustic thing. We won it. My stepfather won it on a tombola thing, believe it or not. That was the first guitar I ever had in life. It was hard work to play on it, but it was good learning because it was so hard to play. It was nylon strung. Desperately trying to do some Clapton or Johnny Winters things. It's like an impossibility. But finally when I got an electric guitar, it was much better.
How old were you when you got your electric?
I was probably about 16 or something.
What kind did you get?
It was just something like an audition or something like that. Someone actually gave it to me. Just a friend, but it was great. I mean, any half decent electric guitar's as good as any other, as long because they all really, as long as it's sort of relatively quite a reasonable neck on it or whatever, then it's as good as anything for it. Because it's just what you get used to anyway.
And you still believe that?
Yeah, but I mean, alright, Gibsons and that you guarantee to get good sound, and you ain't going to get that cheap squealing back and the feedback that you get with them. But I mean, if you're just sitting in a room playing it acoustically with electric and it feels okay, it's as good as anything.
So how long did you live in Ibiza?
I lived there for about 3 years.
3 years. And then you moved back to England?
Yeah, I come back to England when I was about 17.
And what did you start doing? Did you start playing around or putting bands together?
No, I just kept playing the guitar. I lived with my auntie for a while because my parents stayed out there. Well, my mother stayed out there, and my father had been divorced from my mother, so, and I didn't see him. So I was just living with the family, different people in the family, signing on the dole, not doing a lot, you know. Didn't want to do anything, I just wanted to play the guitar,
Really?
That's all I wanted to do.
So you put in a lot of hours practicing?
Yeah, I was playing a lot. That was all I ever really wanted to do.
Did you ever see those guys play?
Which
Were they
guy?
playing with Clapton or Page playing then, or was this...
Well, I didn't see anybody in Ibiza playing, just pub bands, because obviously nobody ever goes there.
Right.
When I came home, I saw Clapton playing, and I seen Beck play. I've seen like most of them play.
Mm-hmm.
I always try and get down to see them, just see what they do.
So what was the first, more or less professional thing you did?
Well, professional, it was probably I joined the Tygers of Pan Tang in 1980, I think it was. Before that, I was just in like a part-time bar band, just playing the bars and things, just for fun. But it was good. I just replied to an ad in the Melody Maker in England for the job with the Tygers, and I went to London, and that was that. I just said, yeah, okay, join.
What was that like?
Well, with the Tygers, they wasn't like a strong band in as much as they wanted to work hard at the individual instruments in the band. You know, I was more into like let's make a record and it's going to be huge, and it never was. But they didn't really put the hours in individually to warrant anything. I think you get what you put into things back out of them. You know. We had bad management, and because it was like the managers was a couple of friends that they knew from the beginning, and they don't just work like that. You know, you need people who can pull a few strings, and you need the right people to sort of guide you on that. And these blokes didn't have a clue, and I was saying to them, you know, to get rid of the managers. I never would, and that. And things just started going downhill a bit from there. Yeah, so the thing with the Tygers was like, it was like I was trying to push for one thing, and nobody really knew which way they wanted to go.
What did you want to see the band do?
I wanted to really work the band hard and try and get a good album together in one direction. And the other thing was, like, publishing-wise, it was always a 5-way split. I was doing most of the writing with the singer, John Devlin. And like you just get these conflicts starting after a couple of months when the novelty wears off of you being in a band like that, and you suddenly realise you're doing all the graft, and everybody's taking the credit for it, and there's a 5-way split on publishing and everything. Not that we were selling that many records to make a fortune, but it's just the idea of it. You know, it's like being a bit ripped off. So things just start going down, and then when they start, it's like a rough fall to the bottom, because you're not going to pull it back together short of getting rid of a few people. And I was with the Tygers a couple of years. I did 3 albums with them.
3 albums?
Yeah, I did Crazy Nights, about an album called Spellbound, and I did some work on The Cage. I didn't put me on any credits for it. I just did a couple of tracks on that. And I got a phone call from Ozzy Osbourne's manager, Sharon.
Wife, sure.
My wife, yeah. I was still in the Tygers, and everything was just falling off stony ground with them, and then I got this phone call saying that Randy had been killed or whatever. I thought Randy was a great guitarist, fucking great player, much better than he was on record. I liked him. It really shocked me. But anyway, I got a call from her to go out, to come over here somewhere and start working with Ozzy, just standing in and maybe a full-time thing. So I jacked the Tigers straight in, because I thought, you know, it was like an omen thing, you know. I thought, someone's telling me to go, you know. So I left the Tigers straight away, because they said, oh, we'll have you out here in about 2 or 3 days as soon as we get the visa sorted out, you know. So I went straight home to my parents' place and started working on all the Ozzy stuff. And about 4 days passed, and Jet Records are not the best sort of company to keep you informed on things. And like the week passed, and then there was nothing happening, and they kept sort of putting it off and putting it off, and I just thought, well, nothing's happening here. And they'd found Brad by then, right? I gradually found out, but nobody had really tell us. I found Brad, and a couple of months went past, and I'd written that off, and I got a solo thing with MCA, which was the Tigers company. We were on a solo type thing with them, because I was still signed to MCA contractually. And about 3 months went past, and I was sorting out all this solo thing, you know, and I was going to do a solo single with Phil Leonard from Lizzy. And then I got a phone call out of the blue, and it was Ozzy Osbourne. And he said to me, "Hello, John, it's Ozzy." And I said, "Oh," like I wasn't very pleased because he'd messed me about.
Sure.
Like they'd messed me about for all this time. And like I know the Tigers wasn't great, but it was better than nothing. And he said, I want to hear you play, you know. And I'm in London and all this, so I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. So, but like this time I'm living in Blackpool, which is about 400 miles away from London. So I went all the way down to London and saw him one day, and he was fine. And he you know, we got on well. And he said, say this was Monday, for instance, he said, okay, Thursday come down to this studio. And it was like a jet studio, so just come down there at 7 o'clock and I'll see you there. So I said, okay, went down there at 7 o'clock and Ozzy turned up about 9. Gone.
God.
But like, it was funny, I liked him, but it was just a strange sort of situation, you know. He was gone and there was no equipment there. There was a band there called Magnum, you know, Magnum, they were supporting Ozzy. On that tour, and they didn't know any of his songs, and he said to me, we just said to all of us, play something like Mr. Crowley or something. Like, I know it, because I've been working on it for fucking 2 months or so.
Mum's house.
So I'm trying to coach them, and they didn't know it, and I'm going through this HH2B12, and it was just a big disaster, really. And then Ozzy said, I can't tell what's going on. He said, I'll have to take you over to play with the band. By this time I've been messing about and thinking of this jet thing so long, and the day after this was all going on, I had to fly to Ireland to do this single with Phil Leonard. So I left that thing, and it was sort of left a bit up in the air. Like I was supposed to phone Ozzy as soon as I finished this thing on Jet Records, and I went out to Ireland the next day with Phil, and like Phil was totally different. He was like a great bloke, and he was just what you'd expect him to be. And he said to me virtually straight away, look, I want you to join Thin Lizzy. So I thought, okay, well it seems a good move to join Thin Lizzy now. So I joined Thin Lizzy and I didn't phone back. But like I've spoken to Ozzy since, and it's great. It seems great. He actually said in Quran that he made a big mistake not getting me in, which was nice. So that was that.
And Vivian Campbell wanted the Thin Lizzy gig.
Vivian wanted the Thin Lizzy gig that I got.
He told us that. He goes, I wanted it, John got it.
And I think he wanted the... no, I won't say
Don't
that.
say that.
Okay. Yeah, so that was that. I got the Thin Lizzy gig there, and it just went from
What records did you do with Thin Lizzy?
I did the live one, and I did Thunder and Lightning.
So going back to Tigers, what kind of guitar and amps were you playing?
Oh, Tigers, I was using a Marshall 50. I had a great Marshall 50, but it got stolen in Holland. I had a great Marshall 50. I was using a Les Paul still, and I used to use a Roland analog chorus echo, and it's got like a preamp. But I mean, in the studio, we'd just use all sorts of things, anything that would sort of get the right texture of sound for the part you was doing.
And you were using Les Paul with Lizzy?
Yeah, just a Les Paul all the time.
A black one?
Strat. I got a Strat as well. I was using a Strat for a couple of touches on the album as well.
But You're mainly
Mainly the Les Paul. Yeah.
What year is that?
It's a 77.
Oh, it's just a recent one.
Yeah. It's a good one, though.
Yeah.
I like
Is that it here?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Wanna have a look at it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll show you later.
And Shay, go ahead.
Have you done anything to it?
Not really, no. It's,
Original pickups?
I think someone, before I got it, the bloke who had it, yeah, it's got the Gibson pickups on it. Before I had it, I think somebody changed the wiring inside it or something, because I took it in to get something done, like one of the leads come off and it wasn't working right. And he said to me, this is strange because it's different. And I don't know what's been done to it, but I just know that it's the only one that sounds like it. Every other one I've bought, it just don't sound the same. It seems to have a good edge on it that way.
Is that a standard or is it a...
It's a Les Paul custom.
Custom?
Yeah.
3 pickups?
No, just 2.
Yeah. What
I
is
changed the top pickup, but it's a Gibson pickup, so it's just got the covers off. I've got one of the roadies to change it. But it's just something about that one. I mean, you get, like I say, you get used to anything. If you play it enough, you know. I mean, everybody always thinks, oh, my guitar's great, but that's the way you're moulded to know how to get all the best things out of it.
Right. So that's the guitar you're obviously using now?
That's the main one
Whitesnake.
I use, yeah. I've got one identical to it, another black one. But, well, it's got gold bits on it, but it's exactly the same sort of guitar, but it just feels different. I've got cream one as well, but I gave one to Cozy. Yeah, I gave that one to Cozy. And, I've got the Strat, and I've got an old SG with a track on. You know the one, the big Gibson tailpiece all engraved. 68, that was the first one I got. So I just keep that. It's just kept in my bedroom, just for old times. So.
Did you use any of those guitars on the new record? The SG and the Strat?
I used, on the new Whitesnake?
Yeah.
I just used my Les Paul. That's all. I mean, the thing with the new album was we only really went to get a remix on it for America, so it was like only 2 days to beef up the chords and things. I hardly did anything on that, I just did a few chord pieces. It wasn't like I was doing the album from the start, because the album was recorded before I joined.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So was the other guitar player playing?
Yeah, Mel's playing most of the parts. I mean, I do chords and a few fills and things, but it was like dead. It was like we got to remix it and everything, and like it was just a thing of just come in and beef it up, because it just turned it to lack a little bit of bollocks on the guitar. So. Yeah. But the new album should be different. I like it. But
You've already started on.
Yeah, I tend to try and set myself quite a high standard. I just work on something like 10 or 12 different ways and just keep looking at it different ways to try and get the best thing I can for it. I hate being rushed. There's nothing worse than going in a studio with either a producer who tries to tell you exactly how you should sound and don't know anything about you, or someone who's saying, look, you've got to finish this in 5 minutes, because you end up pushing yourself to things that you don't really want to do.
Right.
And like if you're working with a producer who keeps telling you how it should be, then you lose track of what direction you've been going in for 5 or 6 years or whatever. And you start thinking, now what does he want? And like they go on until in the end you just start playing exactly what they want. Or you try to play what they want and you just lose the total feel of whatever you want to do in the first place anyway. So.
That's happened to you?
That happens quite a lot with producers. But I mean that, especially like in the earlier things. The Spellbound album I did with the Tygers was okay because it was all new and I was excited about doing it. But when you walk into a studio with a producer the first time, you think, oh, this is a producer and he must be great. They know what to do, so you listen to it. But when you get used to it, they just see what they want to see. But they can't. It's like me saying to you, you should write it like this, and I don't know what you want to do, but do it the best way you feel. I think.
Yeah. Who produced the Tiger records?
Chris Tangaridis.
Mm.
Yeah, he didn't produce Crazy Nights, he produced the first one they did, and he produced Spellbound. And Chris produced the Thin Lizzy one, Thunder and Lightning. He produced the solo single I did with Phil.
What about Martin Birch?
Yeah, I met Martin when, I came to join Whitesnake, I was playing with Thin Lizzy. Thin Lizzy was going to rap in anyway last summer. It had all been in the press for a year after the band was going to break up and that. So we finished off on 3 concerts we did in Germany with them, on like a Monsters of Rock thing, touring around. And I knew, somebody told me in the middle of the Lizzy tour in February that Whitesnake was interested in me, but like I was having such a good time with Thin Lizzy that I wasn't even interested in Whitesnake. And I never particularly liked Whitesnake, to be honest with you. Not because of David or anything, because I've always liked his voice. I loved it, like from even the Burn days. His voice is great, but it was just like the guitar side of things. I buy guitar albums, or it's got to be a good album that I like a Journey album where it's great songs, or Fire or whatever, But
And you saw Whitesnake falling in between.
Well, I just thought Whitesnake was a little bit bland, and I just thought that the guitar players weren't really going to the new side of things. They tended to stay in the old vein and styles of playing, which is great, but I like to look to the future a little bit. So I'd rather go out and say and listen to it. I'll buy a Gary Moore album or something like that, or anything that's a bit more interesting that I can learn from, as opposed to that. So I was never really into that, and they tended to stick in the vein of all that old bluesy style, 12 bar, and it was tending to get a little bit predictable, I thought. So I never really was that keen on it, but then Cozy joined them. And as I say, we was out doing this Masters of Rock thing last summer, and they was checking me out playing with Lizzy, and I thought maybe there might be something going on, but I didn't take too much notice because I was just carrying on. I generally just live my life day to day, so I don't plan too much, and Cozy was out front watching a few people, so, and on the last gig, Cozy said to me, do you fancy joining or whatever, Ozzy Oppie, who manages Whitesnake, gave me a telephone number and everything, and I gave him mine, and we just left it at that. And about a week later or something, I was just sitting at home, and the phone went, and they said, do you want to come out and listen to the new album and meet David and have a chat to him? Because I'd heard a load of things about David, of how much of a star he was and everything, and it all turned out to be a load of rubbish, because he's a great bloke. Yeah, he's a nice, down-to-earth person. But there's so many people get tagged in this business because, like when I got up this morning, it was a bad impression on you lot. But that's how people get it, So if we'd have left it at that, we'd probably said, it's not.
You walk away from it.
Yeah, well, and that's the way it goes, though. But thankfully, he turned out to be a great bloke, and we got on really well. I listened to the album, and the album it was like the best Whitesnake album that I'd heard, because it had that new feel. It had a new feel to it, and it was like new stuff. It wasn't that old 12-bar type boring old riffs that you'd heard a million times. It was a new type, and there was songs, and it sounded nice, and the singing was good, and the production was good. But getting back to Martin Birch, I don't really like his guitar sounds too much, but I think he's a good producer.
But he did all that purple stuff.
Yeah, those days was great. He was probably well inspired. In those times, they did have a great sound, they had a unique sound, which was their sound, but nobody else could get it. It was like the combination of that old Ludwig's kit and the Strat and everything. It was just a combination of all sorts of it. Nobody else was doing it. But he did great for that. He suits sort of Richie Blackmore, so, because obviously.
Yeah. What about Keith Olsen?
Keith, he just sort of, like I said, remixed them. I think Keith's good. I think when I first heard the remix, I didn't know whether I liked it or not. I couldn't really tell. Like, Keith tends to do a very clean job. He makes everything sound. It's all there, but nothing's actually over the top. You know what I mean? It's all nicely sort of spread out. It's a good mix. I mean, he does great. He's tended to mix the album for the radio. It sounds great on the radio. We've heard it on the radio. Slow and easy, and that comes across great. So he knows what he's doing. He's done quite a few hit albums anyway, Keith, hasn't he? So you sort of leave it in his hands. No, because I mean, I don't know what, apart from coming over here with Dio and doing the remix, it's the first time I've ever been over, you know. And I didn't really know what it was like over here for radio and things. I'd heard a lot about it, but it's totally different to England, because England it's just like, it's all in mono. There's one station for like pop, that's it.
The boat? The one on the boat or something? The station?
No, there's one called Radio 1. That's it, that's the main station that everybody listens to. And it's so, I mean, you'd be shocked if it's like the BBC's just a disaster. They're in rooms about half this size and broadcasting, they're dismal. It's unbelievable. But over here it's like a totally different thing. So, I mean, I think Keith's obviously done a good job because the album's telling him it sounds good. I don't, no disrespect to Martin, but I don't think the album would have sold as well if he'd have left it as it was over here, because I don't think it was mixed for this.
It also mentions it thanks to A. Kramer. What did he have to do with that?
Well, I think there was 3 different producers on that album. The album was like virtually finished when I heard it with in Munich with Martin and that. But I think Eddie Kramer started the album, but it didn't work out very well. I don't really know what went on. I just don't think he was doing what, you know, when people see things one way, and like he was just seeing it totally opposite to what. So that didn't work out.
So what kind of a guitar sound do you look for on record? Can you describe it?
Yeah, well, I'm never pleased with the guitar sounds I get around. I mean, it's like a vicious circle. You go on forever, and then some days you think, oh, it sounds great, and then tomorrow you come in, oh, no, it's terrible. Like it's a constant thing, and I'm a terrible critic of myself anyway. You know, everything that you just finish up disappearing up your own arse if you just keep going on. And in the end, like somebody says, look, it sounds great, you know, leave it. Yeah. But I always, like, the sound I'd like to, I haven't got together yet, because I'd love a really big, wide, fat sound, but clear. I mean, a lot of people get big sounds, but they tend to get very distorted and lost. And it is a job, because like there's so many people out there as well. There's a lot of good guitar players and a lot of people. I think the thing is to try and get something a little bit different if you can, you know. And spend I'd like to, on the next album, spend a lot of time on getting the sounds together and taking a new approach, because otherwise you just end up sounding like everybody else, like that VO sound or the Ozzy Osbourne sound. I mean, Ozzy's stuff sounds great. I think Jakey's gets a great sound, Jakey Lee. He gets a great guitar sound.
What about Eddie?
Yeah, I love Eddie's sounds. I mean, that was like, Eddie's inspired so many people. That was like the beginning, really. Eddie's like the Jimi Hendrix of today. No one can take it away from Eddie, and never will, that he'll go down like a Jimi Hendrix sort of thing. No matter how many new guitar players come up and are good, Eddie did it all. Really, for all these new guitar players.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you have any specific ideas of things you'd like to try, new amps or new ways to...
Yeah, generally, see, in the studio, when we was doing like the Thunder and Lightning album, because that was the last album I recorded where it was like, start from the start and finish it. It's like it's just bringing loads of different things to try out. You know.
Is that what you do? Just bring
I'll just bring it out, I'll try anything, PVs, combos, big stacks, walls of gear, and small stuff, you know, anything.
I mean, stuff you've never even played
Yeah,
before?
stuff I've never even played with, just try it out and see how it sounds. There's loads of different things really on that album, thinking about it. But it's down to like one day someone will probably bring out some effect, some box that will make a guitar sound fantastic, because it'll have just what you want on it. But it's murder trying to get a sound that's a bit different from everybody else, but still got that edge against, edge with it. I mean, there's nothing you just try loads of different things and the best you can. That's what you can do.
So David's open for that kind of thing, experimenting with guitar sounds and taking the time.
Well, it'll have to be. But I can't. It's like the band's like David's the original member and he started it off and everything, but it's not like it's David Coverdale's band and he's the boss and that's what he says goes, because it don't work like that. There's too strong of personalities in the band for it to be like that. Cozy's been around a long time. It's no use anybody telling him about it's no use David saying to me, look, you're playing that wrong, play it like this, because I'd just say, yeah, you play it. And I wouldn't say to him, you're singing that wrong, sing it like this. I mean, I'd give him, I respect him if he'd say to me, John, what about if you tried this and you tried it and it worked out for the Beck, because I'm all for constructive criticism type of thing if it makes it better, but not to say, I want you to play a solo just like this, do it like that from the start to the end, because when I joined the band I said I'm not joining the band to be a paid musician to play like somebody else, so have me for what I am or get somebody else, and it worked out for the best, I think. Everybody's sort of strong character, like I said. It seems to gel together quite well.
Do you like playing with a second guitar player?
I prefer to play on my own, to be honest with you. It's more of a challenge, huh?
Oh wait, thank you.
It's more of a challenge to play on your own, but the rewards are a lot higher if you're playing on your own. With two people playing, I mean 90% of the people who come to a concert, if there's two guitar players, they see someone doing a solo or whatever, but they don't really know who's doing what fills or whatever, because there's so much going on. And with two guitar players as well, because there's two lots of the same frequencies going through, a lot of things you do get totally lost, because the other person's playing something totally different. It's all
from the same school.
Yeah.
Of one guitar.
So that's the thing with Eddie, I mean, he sounds great because when he stops playing and goes into a solo, everything, you've got the chords going, and when he stops playing a chord and goes into a solo, there's no chords and it's just a solo and there's only bass and drums with it. So it's going to sound huge. That was the thing with the Van Halen sound. People seem to think when you're working in a studio and that the more guitars you put on, the bigger the sound gets, but it's wrong. The less guitars, the bigger the sound. Because the more you put on, the smaller it gets.
Very more so exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So will the next album have two guitar players anyway though? No.
The next album will just have me on it.
So you never really had a chance to actually be in the studio playing with John Lord and Cozy then, and you kind of came in after the fact.
Yeah. We only just, the album was totally finished. All I was doing when I went over to Munich to meet David and listen to the album was just doing a few vocal overdubs.
Has John done any of the live shows at all?
Lord?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did all the English tour with John. He was great to play with, great keyboard player. I underestimated John because I thought when I first joined and that was another thing, that old Hammond sound and everything else. It tends to date everything. By 10 years or so, you're that old. Hammond with all the Leslies and that. But there was a lot more to John Lord than I thought, because he'd come up with some fantastic sounds that you don't realise are so good until you don't have them there. But he'd get those synth sounds and all the foreigner stuff, and he'd get some great sounds, and it just sounds huge.
So he's playing a lot of synths and things now.
Yeah, he's playing some synths, and he's great. He's got a lot of feel and a lot of taste. Good Beck. Good player.
What is your live setup?
Live?
Yeah.
What? Amp-wise?
Yeah.
I've got about 8 Marshall amps. I think I've got 5 out of them. And I've got 4 stacks, and they're like in these metal frame things, obstructing. So it's good for a support thing, because you can just wheel them straight on and wheel them off, and it's a lot quicker for the crew, because otherwise if you've got loads of people running off and on, things get broke, leads get pulled out and things, but it's all pre-set up really. It's a case of taking the fronts and backs off my amps are all wrapped up in like these cases, and you just whip the front and back off and it's all ready to go, which was an idea just for the support thing, but I quite like it. I like the idea of having loads of equipment. I like the way Eddie gets about 30 miles. You know, I just say that to these lot, you know, the more the better. Because there's nothing like kids today, they're spoiled, you know.
Yeah.
You go to like an Ozzy concert or even like a Quiet Riot show, when they first started out, the rig was unbelievable. You'll see it tomorrow, they're bound to have it or maybe even here today. But like the kids are spoiled because they tend to expect a laser show, drums to fly up everywhere and things. But I mean, I'm all for that. I think it's great because you've got to give the kids what they want. You want to give them something where they're going to walk away and say, "Fucking hell, you should have seen these little guys have this and that." But like these days, it's standard procedure to have 6 super troopers out there and fucking a load of lasers going off, sort of mid-set or whatever. So I don't really know where it's going to end up.
I think that shit is fake anyway on the stage.
Yeah, well, a lot of it is.
So you use 4 stacks, hundreds?
Yeah. I've got 250 watt amps and I've got all the rest 100 watt amps. I only use 2 amps at a time, because otherwise it ruins the whole monitor thing. Everyone knows it's too loud, and out front you can't get a good balance because it's just whacking out the back end. So for sound reasons and that, I only use what I need really, and it don't offend everyone. As long as it sounds alright, I don't mind. As long as they don't say that you've got to sound the same with 1 Marshall amp on 1, because you just can't do it.
Do you use any pedals live?
Yeah, I've got a standard Yamaha export that was left there by Ricky Moody and whatever that I just used a couple of things off. I used a chorus for like quiet parts, and I used phaser sometimes. But it's quite a good board now. They're not too noisy. I find some of the boss stuff's very noisy, and it's although I have got a couple of noise gates as well that I'm using. They're just whacked in the back there at all the time, because you tend to get like all these things you start running through just build up such a hiss that it sounds really unprofessional if you have all this hiss going on just trying to talk with bangs and bits and pieces. So we're really quiet and good time with a couple of boss noise gates as well. But they're quite good value.
Do you go wireless?
Well, I've got some Nady stuff, but I think it loses a bit of the sound, so I don't use it. $1,500. I've used it once for the air.
A lot of people are starting to not use it because the signal fades.
You do, yeah. Well, also I did start using it earlier on, but we started getting a load of interference from
Ozzy told us that great story.
different things.
The truck driver on the... Remember that story Ozzy told us when they were playing somewhere in San Bernardino, and I guess it was right near a trucker's stop.
Yeah.
And some trucker was talking about some pussy, and it was coming over the PA from the wireless. Great story. So you have it and you don't use it.
Yeah, I do. I just... There's definitely a loss of bottom end or top end, I can't remember which. And also we was getting some interference. Apparently there's a box you can buy that you just plug in and it cuts out all other frequencies. And that, but the box is just about as expensive as what the
gear as you've just bought. So it works out to be running real expensive, and then even then, if you're losing some of your sound, I don't think it's a lot.
So you're saying that English radio, English music is a lot different than the stuff over here. I mean, what has been your reaction to, the heavy metal stuff coming out of America? And most of it coming out of LA?
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, I could sit and listen to the radio all day. I mean, I'm always listening to the radio over here, you know. England, it's all pop stuff, you know. They won't play rock music on the radio. If they play rock music on the radio, it will be Saturday night or Friday night on the Friday rock show for 2 hours a week. You're very, very seldom that you'll hear a rock band on the radio, because it's all geared to please, like, from the young kids to the middle-aged people, you know. So they work it out that most of the middle-aged people don't want to hear Motorhead or Van Halen or whatever, you know. So they don't play that, they just play pop tunes all the time. And you just get, because there's only one station and you've got to listen to that station. Otherwise, you know, there's nothing else.
Yeah.
So you either listen to the one station and like it, or turn to Radio 2 and listen to Tom Jones and Mal Doonican and that. You know, so because it's that way. Yeah, I like some of this stuff. Great singer. Some of so they tend to just accept it. That's the way it is. Like, and when you come over here, nobody knows any different over there, you know. So it's just the way it is. But when you come over here and you switch the radio and you find something you don't like, and so you just turn it a quarter of an inch and you find something you do like, which is fucking great, you know. And it's just a shame that it's not more like that at home.
It's funny about you talking about your reaction to the Whitesnake stuff. Just pretty much, I kind of felt that about stuff too. You know, I'd always just miss a little bit.
Yeah, there was just something lacking.
I've met Ozzy a few times, and talking to Ozzy, you know, when he was still with Sabbath, he was saying to the band, listen, he says, these guys are coming out and they're taking what we're doing and they're doing it better, and we're going backwards. These guys are going forward, you know. And so I'm wondering if you maybe see bands like Van Halen or Rad, maybe going more in the direction that you'd like to see Whitesnake going. I mean, I don't know. To me, that's like real kind of, you know, 80s heavy metal stuff, as opposed to Whitesnake. It was always a little old, you know.
Yeah, well, I think with Whitesnake, with the combination of people, I don't think we'll, you know, I love stuff like Van Halen and that, but I don't think that we'll go that way, because he's still got that bluesy way and the blues feel and everything, and he's like a bit too mature to go into screaming and shouting like whatever, you know. But I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
So he tends to go for, say, more of a melodic, classy type of thing, as opposed to screaming and shouting, we want to play our notes and everything to the kids, because he's not that type of person. Yeah. It's like a more mature way of looking at it. So I don't think Whitesnake will ever be a rap. But I think if we've got, or Van Halen or whatever, you know, but I think if we got the bollocks behind his voice, with the new aggression and the new sort of thing, with a touch of class and bits, then I think it could be very interesting, and we could have like a totally different approach to it all. Because I think there's just, like, everybody tends to be sounding like you say, Van Halen or whatever. Rat sounds just like Van Halen to me. It's just like an update. But I mean, basically, all these bands like Rat are doing it, they're just rehashing old Van Halen songs. Really.
I agree.
It's all the same. I mean, if you listen to them, they're structured exactly like something off the first Van Halen album. So everybody tends to be going that way. I don't think we really want to be following everybody else, as opposed to we'd rather be leading in a new direction. It needs something then. That's the difference with bands like Foreigner and that. They're just classy. I mean, Foreigner, they're classy. And they have good players, great songs. But there's no outstanding musicianship on it. It's a song. So if you could have a great band of musicians and songs, then I think maybe you could come up with something a bit different.
Great bands with no songs.
Yeah, great songs.
Lousy bands with great songs.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
Funny.
You do love songwriting?
Yeah, I do quite like songwriting.
And is that why you have nothing on the record, because it was done before?
Yeah, that's right, because it was all done before. Every time I do that, so when I joined Lizzy, I joined them. The first day, like when he said, right, you're in, we got really smelly or whatever, or smelly left. It was like I walked straight into the studio from day one, didn't know any songs. And like we did a song called Cold Sweat, what I wrote with Phil, and that was just like out of the first thing we ever played together. He just said, play anything, we'll have a chat. Like I joined in Lizzy before I'd even played with him. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like, this is the new guitar player, boys, I hope you like him. You know?
It's like
Phil's a great
Phil
player.
seems like
Oh, he's a great player, he's a leader.
yeah.
Yeah, I will do some solo stuff eventually. I want to do some, but like we're going to be busy touring for a while. I won't be doing any for a fair while because we're going to be touring. I mean, if Cozy does an album, then I'll probably do something on that with him. But I do want to do a solo album. But I can't exactly say any date because we're so busy. And like I know that we're going to have to work a lot on the new Whitesnake stuff. Because obviously that's the main thing that we're all interested in at the moment. But eventually I will do a solo album, maybe late next year or something like that.
Blow by blow time?
Like,
Like vocal stuff.
yeah, I just want to. If I was to do a solo album, I would try and get like good musicians, good singer, melodic stuff, and clever stuff. Because I mean, loads of people tend to think that if they've got great players, it's going to be a great album, but it's not that way. Because most people I've seen, like Gary's been in bands where there's been stunning players, but everybody's in different directions. Like they're all either someone's into jazz rock, or something else. Great players, but nobody actually knows what direction they should be going in. So consequently, it's a constant battle of everybody playing different things, but it don't go anywhere. So I would like to do something like that.
What do you feel your strength is as a player?
Well, playing what? I mean, strength as a player. Well, it's whatever anybody really thinks of it. I work hard at playing the guitar, you know.
You practice?
Yeah, I practice quite a lot. I haven't been practicing as much as I should do these past couple of weeks. But I mean, as long as it makes people happy, then that's the thing, you know. Like I'm my worst own enemy. I wouldn't say, oh, I'm a great guitar player, you know, I'm the best, come and see me or whatever, but, you know, I just do the best I can, and I just hope people enjoy it. That's all I can say. I just do my best for the people out front who are coming to see us or whatever.
Okay.